Assalamualaikum, my name is Syafiqa Binti Zaian. I will do some presentation on topic preliminary body assessment of the structural defects on selected klinik kesihatan in Johor. First, for the abstract, body condition assessment is the process of examining the entire structure and infrastructure, including mechanical, electrical system equipment, building frames, internal structure and finishes, and building sites. According to the company Perkhidmatan Sokong Klinik, which is PSK, there is a lot of complaints filed by the building users that there is a lot of defects detected on the building of Klinik Kesihatan in Johor. Visual inspection was carried out to evaluate the building's health and performance in order to determine whether or not it can safely be occupied for another decade. The objective of this study to identify the types of structural defects on the building and to assess the defect of the structural building on selected klinik kesihatan in Johor. A qualitative observation was conducted by doing preliminary inspection with visual inspection over the building of klinik kesihatan in Johor. The methods such as planned preventive maintenance, which is PPM, checklist, building condition assessment, which is BCA, also tools of condition survey protocol, which is CSP1 matrix, were used to assess buildings in good condition. A few common minor defects can be found, mostly due to cracks at the apron. Analysis has been done and findings overall building rated in fair and good building condition. A conclusion was made by achieve all objectives, which is different buildings or structures generate different types of defects and necessitate various level and types of quality, which are dependent on the building function, construction or maintenance system and material use. However, further study is required to explore more in repair techniques and selection of materials in the maintenance of selected klinik kesihatan in Johor. For the introduction, when a building fails to meet the needs of its occupants, it is considered to have a building defect. Building inspection were needed to ensure that the building is in a safe condition and the occupants in the building do not feel threatened by the structural condition of the building. So a visual inspection is the best way for preliminary inspection because it is a straightforward, non-destructive method for determining the condition of a building or structure. The purpose of building inspection carried out is to determine the method of repair or conservation of the building, identify the level of user safety as well as help maintain the function of the building. The most important of building inspections is to extend the lifespan of the building, further maintaining the value building quality. Moreover, building defects are classified into two types, which is structural defects and non-structural defects. But for the study, it is only focused for the structural defects of buildings. Structural defects are defects in the building's frame such as columns, beams, walls, floors, and foundation. This sort of fault occurs as a result of building settlement deformation, severe cracking and bowing. At klinik kesihatan, structural defects that found when do the preliminary inspection is cracking, dampness, and unstable foundation. For the literature review, the elements of structural building, we have foundation, substructure and superstructure. And for the structural components of a building, we have column, beam, slab and staircase. Also, we have structural assessment, which is structural defects and non-structural defects for cracks only. Then types of defect, we have types and pattern for cracks, cracking, dampness and unstable foundation. So the last one, we have plant preventive maintenance, which is building condition assessment in a visual inspection. So for this literature review, I was emphasized to building condition assessment because building condition assessment is a critical process that evaluates the physical condition and functionality of a structure. Assessing the true condition of building structure is critical for developing a building maintenance program or undertaking building repair work. The condition evaluation considers the degree and amount of physical degradation of buildings as well as the labour required to renovate them as well as the accompanying expenses. The condition of the building is vital for decision making and also assists management in meeting service standards for maintenance. For the part of methodology, observations that have been conducted in the area of Klinik Kesihatan in Negeri Johor is up close as well as photograph and touch defect area as evidence of study observation. Okay, for the methodology flowchart that we see, so the first one is start, then we go to problem statement. After that, from the problem statement, we go to research objective. The first one is to identify the types of structural defects on the building. Second one, to assess the defect of the structural building on selected klinik kesihatan in Johor. And then from the problem statement also, we have primary data and secondary data. Okay. After that, we have plan preventive maintenance (PPM) and building condition assessment (BCA). After that, we have data collection. Then visual inspection and preventive maintenance (PPM) checklist. Beside that, structural defect on column, beam, slab and staircase. And then we conduct an assessment using tools of condition survey protocol CSP1 matrix. Then analysis and discussion and end of the flowchart. For the result and discussion, the first stage in the building maintenance procedure is an inspection. Building inspection requires the ability to recognize defects as well as knowledge with reporting processes. It generally entails on-site work and report preparation. This study activity focuses largely on defect detection and quantitative evaluation of each defect, resulting in an overall condition assessment of the structure. So, the table 1 shows the condition assessment and rating of a building using condition survey protocol 1 metric. So, the table will show the overall building condition. Then it can be concluded from the table 1. It can be concluded that the descriptive value according to score 1 to 4, which is plan maintenance, and 5 to 12, which means in metric condition monitoring. With that, the overall building rating with score 1 to 4 and 5 to 12, the building condition is rated in fair and good condition. So the last one is the conclusion. Study investigated defects at selected klinik kesihatan in Johor. This investigation aims to identify building defects. Different building function, construction or maintenance system and materials cause different types of defects and require different levels and types of quality. Major or minor defects. A major defect makes a building unsafe, unfit for human habitation or unfit for its intended use. Minor defect result from poor workmanship or deficient materials used in a building's construction but do not make it unsafe, unfit for living in or unfit for its intended use. Cracks were found during these investigation inspections, and mostly cracks are found at some part of apron. Second, analyze pudding defects. Analyze using Condition Survey Protocol CSP1 matrix. After researching current condition assessment methods, the CSP1 matrix was chosen to evaluate good pudding. This method rates construction defects. This approach to gather data quickly by eliminating description, prioritize each defect based on recommendation, and get an overall pudding evaluation. The study aims to quantify the condition of decent puddings. The researcher hopes that this study will help identify defects in the selected clinic KESIHATAN in Johor to prevent damage with a report. CSP1 matrix needs more testing before being used for medium and large property inspection. This CSP1 matrix is likely unsuitable for unreasonable property circumstances such as preparing a pudding survey report.